And another one. What's going on, guys? Karl here, back with another episode of more Apple refresh time. Today we are taking a look at the good old iPad Air 3, the 2019 iPad Air, which was announced, of course, in the same time as the iPad mini video. And just like the mini, I thought the iPad Air was kind of near the end. I didn't think that they would upgrade it because we did get the iPad Pros last year, but Apple does not forget, and we have this interestingly placed iPad to add to the slightly confusing lineup. I was lucky enough to use mine before the actual release date, but here is my actual model that has just come, so that is perfect as I can share what is inside. We of course have a Lightning to USB. Unlike the iPad Pros, this still uses Lightning. That isn't a problem, but obviously we're hoping to see Apple just evolve into all things USB-C. We of course have user manuals and the charging brick. And that is all of you get inside of the box. And we will start this puppy up, pressing the on button in the corner, and you can see right off of the bat, the one thing that I kind of miss using an iPhone XS, XS Max, the new iPad Pros, is Touch ID. There is something still very satisfying. You can see that we do have it on the bottom, and we do have the same design as the old iPad Pros. So while this guy is setting up, let's kind of talk about the weird placement and pricing of this guy. Starts at $500, $499 for 64 gigs and Wi-Fi. If you choose to get the basic iPad, which I think should be called the iPad Air, that starts at $329. Stepping up to the 11-inch iPad Pro, that is $700, and of course you have the smaller brethren, the iPad mini, which kind of slots in the back here. We'll just call that the small tablet. I'll even throw my iPhone over to that side. And I guess what you get for this guy is the same internals that you find in the iPad mini. We've got the A12 Bionic chip, which is actually, I guess, found in my iPhone XS Max as well. So performance is on point. It is one of the best mobile chipsets that you can get. So performance with this guy, whether you are rocking a bit of Fortnite, whether you are multitasking, whether you are crunching hundreds of photos in Lightroom, this guy handles it without a problem. And that's really good. That's what you really want. But it is becoming a bit of an older chipset, and the thing that I still don't understand, like we saw in the iPad mini, is the actual design. I wish that Apple updated these to maybe look similar to the iPad Pro. I get you have to keep them different and separate because you're paying more money for the Pro. And now you can essentially see the full spectrum, and sadly, once you start using the iPad Pro, it is like you have been getting the best of the best. You've tried the real caviar, you've flown first class, you've had a taste of the good life, and once you do, it is hard to go back to anything else that isn't the Pro. And that's very sad because that just shows how good the iPad Pro is. And a lot of people say you can fully replace your laptop. I still don't think you can, especially if you're a dedicated video editor. But for most people, sure, the iPad Pro can be your primary device, no problem. It's got the Gen 2 Apple Pencil that snaps to the top, and just like the use of this guy, this thing is awesome. And unfortunately with the iPad Air 3, still find it hard to keep up with the name. You are still using the Gen 1 Apple Pencil. Still has the same accuracy, but you do have to plug it into the bottom to charge, which still, no matter what, this looks weird. But now when you're done using it, just unfortunately like the iPad Pro, I cannot place this guy on top. You gotta get a separate case or just put it in your pocket so you don't lose it. But on the flip side, if you haven't used an iPad Pro and the iPad Air 3 is the first tablet that you've ever used, you will be completely fine with this guy. And that's how good iPads are compared to any other tablet that's on the market. And yes, I get they are expensive, but they are that much better than the competition. The machining, the build, the experience, the form factor of iPads, I think Apple has just nailed it. It's something that I don't think others can compete with. Or at least I think so. And in no way is Apple sponsoring for me. They're not giving me thousands of dollars to say good things about the iPad. It's just facts, and I gotta give them props, but I can rag on them for this large bezel, which has to be improved. The side bezels and even the bottom chin I can give to you, but just that is what's annoying, and it does seem dated, especially now in 2019. Stoked about the chipset, happy to see good old Touch ID again, and not too thrilled about the design. Kind of sums up my review of the iPad Air 3. If you have the extra cookies and the extra bank, spend that money on the iPad Pro, even the smaller iPad Pro model. Curious to hear your thoughts down below in the comments, and I will catch the rest of you in one of my next ones or in one of my vlogs. Peace.